Hey guys, Smalls coming back at you with another tutorial video for PixArk. Today we're going to be learning about attributes for your character as well as your tamed creatures. So if you want to learn more about what your stats do for you and your beasts, stay tuned and we'll get this video started. Welcome back to the video, guys. So as I stated before, today we will be going over attributes, which are these nice pretty little things here in the middle of your screen. Health, stamina, oxygen, food, water, weight, damage, fortitude, and crafting speed. Everything I tell you about attributes today in relation to your character will also apply to your tamed creatures. So if I tell you your health does this, it also does the same thing for your tamed beasts, okay? So the first one we're going to start out with today is going to be health. Alright, health tells you how much life you have left. If your health reaches 0, you're dead. If you fall below 30 HP on your character, you will become injured and you will move much slower. If you want to regenerate your health because you're low, you can eat cooked meat or bread, or you can even use healing potions, which you learn how to make later on in the game. If you're being attacked by something, if you fall, if you're drowning, and if you're cold or really hot, you can take damage and you'll lose health. So that's overview on health. Next stat is stamina. Stamina shows how much energy you have. Performing certain actions such as running, jumping, swimming, or harvesting resources, or attacking stuff, all drains your stamina. Stuff that drains your stamina will also cause you to lose food and water. So if you're doing a lot of vigorous activity, farming a whole bunch of stuff, killing a whole bunch of stuff, your food and your water levels will also go down as your stamina goes down. Next stat's going to be oxygen. So that's kind of self-explanatory. Oxygen shows you how long you can hold your breath while you're underwater. It also affects how fast you can move in the water. Going underwater will drain your oxygen over time, and if you run out of oxygen, you will start to suffocate and your health will go down, and eventually you'll die if your health goes all the way down because you run out of oxygen. Alright, next stat, food. The next stat is food, ladies and gentlemen. My favorite. Food shows how fed you are. You will gradually get hungry over time. Actions that, like I said earlier, actions that consume stamina will also drain your food and water. If your character is cold, they will become hungry much faster. So if you live in the snow or something like that, you want to be sure to have a lot of cooked meat on storage, because you will consume more food if you're living in a colder environment. If your food reaches 0, your screen's going to turn kind of red around the sides and you will start starving, and it's going to drain your health. And you're also going to gain torpidity. If you're starving, you will gain torpidity. So it's always important to keep food on you. Berries, meat, vegetables, dino eggs, anything you can eat, keep on you, because not only can you use it to help regen your health if you take some damage from a mob, also if you get hungry while you're out and about exploring, you have something to pep you back up. Alright, next stat is water. Basically the same thing as food. Over time, your water is going to drain because you're a human. You're going to get thirsty. So, water shows how hydrated you are. The levels will naturally decrease over time, as I said. Actions that consume stamina will drain your water. If you are hot, you will become thirsty much faster. Okay? There's also certain things in the game that if you consume them, you will get dehydrated, such as stem berries. Eating stem berries or drinking stimulant will drain your water level pretty rapidly, and you will become dehydrated. If you become dehydrated, this will also decrease your health gradually. It will also in turn increase torpidity. So the key here is, how I do it is, I like to build my base close to water, so if I'm thirsty, I'm just a few steps out the door. I can just start drinking water, or run a tap into your house so you can have water readily accessible in your house. things to help you overcome the water issue if you don't live near water is by carrying a water bag. You can go to a pond or lake or whatever, fill up your water bag, and if you get thirsty, you have that bag to drink. Next attribute on the list is weight. Arguably, probably my most important stat in the game. Weight is a huge deal for me because I'm a solo player and I can't carry very much stuff, so I like to increase my weight. Weight shows how much you are currently carrying. Every item has a weight value, and if the total weight value of everything you are carrying becomes too great, you will slow down or even become over encumbered and unable to move. If your carried weight becomes equal to or greater than about 85% of your total weight, that's when you become encumbered. You will move very slowly. It's super annoying. Usually I wind up throwing something out of my bags, that, like rocks or something very heavy. I'll just toss it out of my bags and just let it go. Also, when you're over encumbered, you can't jump. So if you're being chased by mobs or anything like that, or you have to jump up a mountain to get to your base, you're screwed. So I like to increase my weight to about 300 minimum. That's my very lowest number I'll have my weight at. If your carried weight becomes equal to or greater than your total weight, you will be unable to move at all until you drop items. So that's what your weight does. On to the next stat, damage. Okay, so melee damage is a measure of how hard you hit. Adding a point to your damage will increase your damage by 10 points, okay? Also increasing your damage increases the yield when harvesting renewable resources, such as your wood and rocks. So higher damage kills creatures faster and harvests more resources in fewer hits. In a nutshell, that's what damage does. Okay, next stat is fortitude. Fortitude is a measure of your resistance against the weather, torpidity, and diseases. If you have a higher fortitude, your natural insulation against cold and heat lessens the effects that you will receive from hypothermia and hyperthermia. It also gives you resistance to torpidity, increasing your effects such as consumption of sleepy potion. You get hit by a player with a sleepy arrow or a slingshot, your torpidity will not increase as much as it would if you didn't have any points in fortitude. So fortitude is basically a resistance for weather, torpidity, and diseases. Alright, the last stat we're going to talk about today is crafting speed. So crafting speed is a measure of how fast you can craft items, and also which quality they have when you craft them. I guess sometimes when you craft stuff, there's a random chance that it might be of better quality than just a regular item. Increasing your crafting speed will allow you to craft items at a much faster rate. It also allows you to craft more items in a shorter amount of time. Since you are slower while crafting, this also reduces the amount of time that you are slowed from crafting on the go. Sometimes when you're crafting, like say you're crafting 100 arrows while you're out in the wild and you're running around, you're going to be slowed drastically, almost to a standstill. You will barely be able to walk as you're crafting those arrows. If you put points in crafting speed, this will reduce the amount that you are slowed while you're crafting items on the go. As you level up, you will notice on your screen, level up is available. Access inventory to apply points. So you'll open your inventory up and you will notice that there are blinking plus symbols next to each attribute on your character screen. So as you're going through the game, you can choose what you want to level up. I usually like to stay around 200 stamina, 300 health. I usually like to be around 300 health. And you can increase your food a little bit. I barely started increasing my food and water just because it's a hassle to always have meat on you that's cooked. In PixArk, the meat spoils fairly quick. And I've gone into my server files, but I've changed the values, but for some reason they're not taking effect. I don't know if the devs have some kind of lock where you can't customize your server harvest values or anything like that, or time values on your meat spoilage, etc. So eventually I'm probably going to put more into food and water, that way I don't go hungry and get thirsty as often. As I stated before, I like to have my weight around at least 300. 300 is the minimum that that's the very first thing I increase is my weight. Damage, I usually put about 200 points into, and fortitude, I try to get about 10%. Now, crafting speed, I don't really get overly concerned with, because most of the time when I'm crafting stuff, I'm in my base and I'm not out running around, so being slowed by crafting stuff while I'm running is not an issue to me. I craft stuff while I'm in my base, while I'm kind of just chilling out with some downtime, maybe at nighttime, stuff like that. So I usually don't put points in crafting speed. If I do, I might get it up to like 150, 200 at the most. My most important stat, as I said, is weight, and from there I'll go ahead and go to health and stamina, and then everything else is secondary. For oxygen, I usually like to get 150 points in that at the most. As I stated before, all these numbers also affect your beasts, your tame beasts. For instance, my wolf here, Ghost, he has a point right now, I believe. Yes, he does. So I can use his points just the same way as I use my points. Health, stamina, oxygen, food, weight, same exact stats as we have. Obviously he's not going to have crafting speed because he doesn't craft, stuff like that. He has quite a bit of weight. I use this guy to kill stuff, so I just stack damage points on him. That's all I use for him. Alright guys, well that's it for the attributes overview tutorial. If you guys have any questions, be sure to post them down below in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer them. If you guys liked the video, smash that like button. And also, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you'll be notified anytime I release new content. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you watching my video. Have a good one. We'll see you later.